So every Sunday we are usually.
I am coming from Vrindavan.
Huh?
I am coming from Vrindavan.
Oh, very nice.
And Brajvasi.
You were living here. You are living in Vrindavan.
Yeah.
Oh, Brajvasi. Oh, that's very special. Very special. I visited Vrindavan first time 1978.
78.
That was a different Vrindavan.
Different.
Very peaceful. Very, very peaceful. Now Vrindavan is very busy. But 1978 was very nice. I'm a Prabhupada disciple, so I was there 1 year after Srila Prabhupada left.
Now I understand very crowd.
Yeah. I am not. I always visited India very often, but I never lived really in India for a long time. I feel like I'm belonging here to this part of the world. I was born in the West, and not in Sweden. I was born in Czech Republic in Prague. So anyway. That would be the autobiographic thing. So anyway, meeting in Vrindavan, Sweden, Srila Prabhupada used to say, we are now in a very far remote place, far away from Mayapur and Vrindavan. So it's a great distance actually. Previously people couldn't actually travel like that. Now by airplane we can go. But it was Srila Prabhupada who opened Vrindavan actually before. When I came 78, Vrindavan was still like a very small place. There was no people. When I came first time with other devotees, I was 1978. I was 6 years in Krishna consciousness. So when I came there like this from a bus in Vrindavan, people were shocked. They never saw a white man with a tilak, and they immediately we are like demigods. Yeah, but we are not demigods. We are born in a very fallen circumstances. So and it was only thanks to Srila Prabhupada we start to understand what is Vrindavan, what is Krishna consciousness. Before we never heard about it. Those who are living and born in these countries, in this past, like Brajvasi, they are very special because this is a very special birth. Just to be born there. What they do about it, that's another thing that I also learned later on, that some people they dedicate their life to Krishna and some they don't. This is our choice. It's the same thing here. But here we are in a country. There was never Krishna consciousness. There was just some Vikings, savages here. Very remote. I remember when I came to Vrindavan, they asked me, where are you coming from? From Sweden. Nobody knew Sweden. Switzerland. Yeah, that they know. I was going, no, Switzerland. Sweden. And they were going, oh, where is Sweden? I said, well, it's very far up there. And usually I came around the springtime. There was still snow here. So I told them, I'm coming from Sweden. There's lots of snow. And then in Vrindavan they were going, snow. They never saw snow in Vrindavan. So they were going, why are you living there in the snow? They couldn't understand. Why are you living in a snow? And actually, I said, actually, they are right. It's completely crazy to live like this. It's crazy. This is not a place. In a scriptures is stated that a place where you cannot grow grain all the time. It's not for human beings. It should not. One should not live there. Actually, this is like the proof. That you can grow grain all the time. Here we are. We can travel a lot. People come. And there are Indians living in Sweden. But I don't think they live in Sweden. Really, it's so different. The mentality. Krishna arranged. We are all born in a particular place. And actually in the Chaitanya Charitamrita it stated those who are born in India, in Bharatvarsha in itself, they are very special. And they actually should preach Krishna consciousness to others. Actually, you should preach to me. I shouldn't preach to you. This is actually a desire of Lord Chaitanya, because you have the culture. You know. There's no culture here. This is people do things. Of course, in India now it's coming also. But still, many Indians cannot imagine how people live here. They do anything sinful you can imagine. They will do. You don't see it here on the surface. But when you stay for a while here, you realize, they really do horrible things here. They kill animals. They do all kinds of things. Intoxication. It's all normal. So. I was completely overwhelmed when I first time came to Vrindavan, because these places have a natural tendency to provoke spiritual emotions naturally, completely naturally. So I remember just by being in Vrindavan for 3 weeks, when I came to the West, I got a shock. I couldn't relate to this. It took me a while to adjust again to the West. Because, in Vrindavan, so quickly you become Krishna conscious. You must. And those who don't, well, they have to leave Vrindavan. They have to go. It's only for very special people who can stay there. So today's issue, originally I want to stay with the announced subject, was about lies and truths. That's actually a universal subject that relates to every country and every place in this material world. Vrindavan, unfortunately, too. Vrindavan, that is described in the scriptures, there is an illusory version of Vrindavan. Krishna is so expert that for those who actually are not serious, they want God, but without serving Him. They actually want that God serves them. That's a natural attitude. They know God exists. They cannot deny that. But they have the tendency to always, get something from God. And Krishna consciousness is completely opposite. It's just you give. And God is taking care, we know that. We know this. So that makes Krishna consciousness a little bit different from ordinary religion, Like people go to church, they pray for the daily bread, they go Ashibat, blessing. I remember speaking a story of my spiritual master Srila Prabhupada traveling in India on a train. And he had a special compartment on a train, reservoirs, and his servants were there. And there were 2 men, they knew, there is a saintly person on the train. So they were very pushing. They want to speak to him. And the devotees know that they were already trained enough that people just want some cheap blessing, just something. So, and the Prabhupada finally said, let them come in. So they came into his compartment on a train, and they asked, Swamiji, Ashibat, blessing. My knee is broken, I would like to have my knee again functionable. Can you blessing? Prabhupada looked at them and he said, my blessing is Chin Hare Krishna. Learn how to love God. Regarding your knee, go to the doctor. So they were a little bit disappointed, because actually God is not meant to serve our material purposes. And that's a big difference between what we are doing and what people generally expect religious people to do. But Prabhupada said they already understand there is God. So that's good. There's an understanding there is God. Prabhupada called in India actually, I cannot do that because I am not born in India, but Prabhupada could do that. Devotees were amazed. in West, Prabhupada was very tolerant. You have to be, because people are so stupid here. Spiritually so ignorant. Spiritually stupid. So Prabhupada was very tolerant. He was just like, okay, offering, encouraging any little spiritual thing. But when he came to India, he became very heavy, very strict, very heavy. So devotees were shocked. Wow, what is this? Prabhupada used to call the pious people in India first-class rascal. There are different classes of rascals. And the first class, he knows. He has a knowledge. He has a background. But he still wants something for himself. Just something. So Prabhupada was addressing this. When I am in India, I cannot do that. I don't feel like doing that, because I am really coming from a very, very fallen background. My parents, they were reasonable. They were honest people. But they were not Krishna conscious. They had nothing to do with spiritual life. So, in India, I meet people. There was the father and the grandfather was chanting all day, and it's just a tradition, So you think, wow, this is amazing. So Prabhupada said actually all Indians are more or less Krishna conscious, just a little bit covered. Prabhupada said you have to scratch a little bit on a surface, pop, it comes out immediately. Therefore Krishna consciousness is doing really big in India. It's really nice. Here in the West you can see this is a public program, and we are happy that you came. Because, there's not... You are born in Sweden, huh?
Yes.
That's the only Swedish person sitting here. This is from Sweden. He is from Russia. She's from Albania. I am from Czech Republic. I lived in Sweden for 28 years. I was preaching here. Very difficult. Very, very difficult. Why? Because people born here, they are naturally averse to even become a person, become personally involved. Everything is mechanical here. You can see on the street, everything is like automatic. Everything is card number. It's all, especially today. I came to Sweden 1986, first time. It was a little bit different. But still people were like more idealistic and more, more together. Now together, they go, I'm on the internet, we are on the internet together. That's all. Prabhupada said, I'm coming from India, I'm coming from a culture with open doors and open windows. Open. Srila Prabhupada was shocked that in the West, if you want to visit somebody, you need an invitation. People invite each other here. On this and this time, on this and this date, you come and visit. Prabhupada was shocked. He said, in India, we visit all the time. You just come in. Open door. Hello, hello. You just sit down. What is the problem? So this is completely unheard of. But the issue of cheating and not cheating, truth and lies, this is relating to everybody in this material world. I came to Krishna consciousness because since I was born I felt cheated. I felt there's something wrong. It was a feeling. I felt I had a very specific upbringing. I was born in a communistic country, Czechoslovakia. My parents, when I was 13 years old, immigrated to West Germany. That was capitalistic country. So what I heard in the school was completely opposite. The first 7 years, I was hearing only communistic ideas, and the rest I was hearing only capitalistic ideas. So as a young man, I grew up being completely cynical and completely averse. I didn't believe anything, anybody anymore. This is natural because, and many people come to Krishna consciousness like this, because they actually lose faith that what is real. truth, you know. And then we were confronted with Srila Prabhupada's books, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya Charitamrita. In these books, you find exactly information why we got cheated. It starts with the fact that everybody living in this material world is a material body which is equipped with material senses, which are perfectly imperfect. We cannot trust what we see, we cannot trust what we hear, we cannot trust even what we taste. It's very subjective. What I like and what I taste, somebody else doesn't like. What I see, somebody will not see. What I hear, somebody will not hear or not like to hear. So it's very subjective. So, and the information we get, perceived through these senses, it's illusory. It's not perfect. So those who want truth means perfect, they will not find it. On top of that, it's all filtered through the mind. And the mind can imagine anything. The mind is such an illusion that the mind is actually, it may make me to believe anything. The absolutely extreme, Srila Prabhupada was often attacking it, was that people come to understand that actually I am God, yeah. I am God. I am God. Srila Prabhupada in so many ways defeated this idea. If you are God, why do you have to go to the dentist? God goes to the dentist. Srila Prabhupada in one lecture, he makes even a joke. He goes, I am God, and then and he goes to the dentist because he has a tooth pain. God goes to the dentist. Oh, this is unbelievable. So there are so much evidence and proof that actually that this is mind, imagining things. Krishna consciousness is not just another way of imagining things. Krishna consciousness is actually for those who really seek truth. Truth means something which was always truth, is always truth, and will be always truth. It doesn't change. That alone people think is not possible. This is impossible. Because we were raised that everything can be seen differently. We can discuss, and we can share how we differently see things. And what is the result? The result is a complete confusion, absolute confusion. Because people will never agree. They speak about unity, but how do you actually find unity on this platform? With subjective senses, with subjective perception, not possible. So unity can be found only on a platform of absolute truth. Now, how to get to that? Well, some attempt has to be made, because most people, they are, Prabhupada called it mundane, it's called lazy. Because actually, truth brings responsibility to us. If I know something, really know, then I have to also act upon it. And that people don't like that. Therefore they think, it's all relative, and do whatever you want, and I do it my way, you do it your way. All the time we hear this, because they're afraid of the responsibility. If you really know that this is like that, then I also must act like that. What is my relationship to that? So people are, so then Krishna consciousness, there are many coming to Krishna consciousness who are attracted, and Krishna says himself that some come because of pain, they are suffering. Some come because of being in need, they need something. And some come because they are curious, just curious. Oh, that's interesting, that's nice. But it's not very serious. They will go again because they think, oh yeah, okay, now I know, yeah, this is Hare Krishna, yeah. And then they go again. And then there is one class of men, which is, Krishna says, They are most dear to me. Actually, they are all dear to me because they come to me. But the one who is most dear to me is the one who seeks knowledge, truth, clear definition of what is what. So people are scared of this idea. Because in this society it's illusory, in illusory way, they are indoctrinated by the idea that truth is relative, and then there are heavy people, dictators, we call them demons. I can quote Mr. Goebbels, one of the leading propagators of the Nazi party. He said, truth can be defined according to the needs, momentarily needs of the time. And then he said something even worse. He said, 1,000 times repeated lie, it's lie, becomes truth. This is absolutely demoniac understanding. Unfortunately, it works. People are like this, they don't verify things. How can we avoid to get cheated? It's quite simple, quite simple. There's even one proverb, I can quote a Chinese proverb, that, you find truth by searching for the origin. Where do things come from? This is our philosophy, actually. All wise men know that. People accept just something because it's there. But nobody asks, where is it coming from? This is how dictators come from the, like I can stay with the German Nazi example. Mr. Hitler was just a lonely, unrecognized artist, just selling his paintings just to stay alive, to get some food. Somehow or other he got the blessing and he got empowered that he learned to speak the language people like. And he learned to express himself in a very charismatic way and telling them what they like to hear. This is how cheaters work. Somebody who tells the truth, he doesn't care if people like it or hate it. He just loves the truth. But the cheater, he will know. As one of the cheaters I met told me, I know how to speak the language of my customers. It's like a businessman, he knows, very nice, you are a good man. He will never say something negative about you because you will go away. He wants to keep you around so he can get some benefit from you. So he will cheat you. He will lie to you. And unfortunately, the best lies can be delivered in the name of spiritual life. Why? Because we cannot touch it initially. There is a level how we enter Krishna consciousnesses, and that you find in India, people spontaneously accept. Sometimes too fast, I have to say, but I remember when Rajiv Gandhi was on a political campaign in India, he was always descending with a helicopter from the sky, flying with a military helicopter. And some people in the village said, well, he must come from heaven, because he comes down with the helicopter like this. Simple people. Actually nice people, but not knowledge. They had no knowledge. So this is so easy to cheat like this. When people who don't ask, where is he coming from? What was the past of that person? And what is his function? What is his function? India has a plenty of supply of incredible people. Some of them even have a mystic powers, yes, we have to admit, which you don't find in the West very much, yeah. And people are impressed. Oh, he can produce, he makes with the hand like this and they say gulab jamun. Ah, he can make with the hand like this. There's even piece of gold. Prabhupada said, gulab jamun you can cook in a kitchen and gold you can buy in any shop. What is the big amazing thing? What is he doing actually? So there might be such a powers even, but they're still material. There's nothing to do with spiritual life. When Srila Prabhupada was asked in India, can you also do some magic, something amazing? He pointed to us, to his Western disciples, and he said, this is my magic. Nobody ever did this before. In the history of mankind, there was, before Srila Prabhupada, never a time where so many people were practicing spiritual life, like today. We cannot even imagine what Srila Prabhupada did. That is beyond the scope of even of an ordinary preacher or ordinary devotee. We can influence maybe few people. People like us, okay, we can influence, we can introduce some Krishna conscious idea. But changing the whole world? That's really amazing. In 10 years, now you find Krishna consciousness everywhere you go. Even in Antarctica, there's a base, there's some devotees chanting. There's everywhere you go. In this planet, there's no place, there's zero Krishna consciousness. You can find it even in Sweden, and that's really something. That's amazing. So this is thanks to Srila Prabhupada. So we cannot imitate or copy that, but what we can do, we can follow his rigid way to speak the truth. Srila Prabhupada was he was tolerant towards stupidity, because he knew this is a place we come from. What can we do? We don't know. So Prabhupada was very tolerant with that. But if somebody presented something like philosophy, if somebody presented an idea, things are like that. If somebody tried to define the truth, Prabhupada was dangerous. He was absolutely uncompromising. And this was very demanding, actually. Srila Prabhupada was so attractive. I saw him only 3 times, and that's forever. Just by seeing him. I never spoke to him. He wrote me a letter. I never wrote him a letter. I thought he's getting so many letters, He has 4,000 disciples, my God. He must have get so many letters, so what shall I write? He wrote me a letter. So it is not possible for ordinary human being to make such a personal impact in people's lives. Still, we can follow Prabhupada by searching, and it is not once upon a time or one time thing. It's ongoing search after truth, because the illusion is always Maya, means that what is not, is always serving us a new information, always. Therefore Krishna consciousness is sometimes called also a walk on a razor's blade. There's not much space on a razor blade, and actually if you slip, you can cut yourself really badly. So there's not so much space on the razor blade. So the more you come close to truth, the smaller the scope gets to move. People are scared of this. They think, I have so many lies and I can hear. We have so many lies to choose from, isn't it? There's such a vast, offer of lies. But truth, it suddenly becomes very clear. There's only one truth, not many truths, one truth. People are absolutely scared of this. They rule this out even. They try even to kill somebody who is going to preach like this. Jesus Christ was one of them. Prabhupada used it like example. He said, he just said the truth. And they killed him. So whoever tries to preach truth, very dangerous. Very dangerous. Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj, the spiritual master of Srila Prabhupada, there was a plan how to kill him too. He was also known for very clear and uncompromising definition of things. Not possible to defeat, actually. Very difficult.
He was shot.
Huh?
Kadamba Swami, he was shot.
Why? Because he wanted to uncover the truth.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what it is. We have in ISKCON history about this. Oh, I don't want to go in detail, but he was not the only one. He survived, the others didn't. But, you know, it can happen. You know, there are people who feel, obviously they don't believe in law of karma for reactions of what they have done. Obviously they don't believe that Krishna is in the heart of everybody watching. You know, they don't believe this. Otherwise they wouldn't act like this. They will be afraid to act like this. So that's a first symptom of realization that God exists, is actually fear. Therefore you see religious institutions are full of people who are in fear. Oh, we have to surrender to God, otherwise he will just punish us. Oh, you know. Therefore I never like to go to church, because I sense the sense of fear all the time. I was going, spiritual life cannot be based on fear only. That one is cautious and careful, that's another thing. But just practicing service to God on basis of fear only, that was not appealing to me at all. And then I met Prabhupada and he showed us exactly the opposite. And when you look at the pictures of Prabhupada dancing with his disciples, you know, is there any sign of fear? You know, there's no fear. Why? Because they knew they do the right thing on the right time, in the right place, under the right guidance. Everybody was ecstatic. So this is a symptom that actually you come close to truth, you become very satisfied, you become actually very invigorated, and you become very joyful. That's called knowledge, truth. You become very joyful. If people, you know, this is the problem with Christian church. There were joyful saints also in Christian church, but you don't find them very much depicted in front. If you go to Prague, where I'm born, this was a center, before even Vatican came, this was the center of Catholic Church. And there is a bridge, a very famous bridge built by Charles IV over the river, which everybody walks, the tourists, everybody walks that bridge. And it's full of the statues from Baroque times of the saints, you know, this, and as I was a small child, I was horrified to go through that bridge. It was scary to me.
But was it no cars? No cars?
Huh?
Cars?
No cars, it's just pedestrian walking.
Okay.
It's not allowed. It used to be once upon a time, but no. This is so historical, this is like a monument. And it's a special atmosphere on the bridge. They say actually, if you walk that bridge, you will come back again. You know, it's a very special atmosphere. It's and people feel it. They just go over that bridge. But this figure standing there, I was always thinking like, whoa, it was scary for me, you know. And then in the winter, everything goes gray and dark, and there was this, you know. And I entered a church in the West. First of all, there was never somebody there much. And then, and then all the pictures of the saints were the same. Always very sad and very tormented. Everybody was tormented. And the chief, the guru, the leader, they worship him nailed on a cross. Can you imagine in India people go and make a puja, for somebody who is nailed on a piece of wood? Yeah, they do. This is considered actually a dark type of worship, full of blood and, and all this. In Christianity, it's like the chief. The guru is nailed to a piece of wood. And symbolically, they drink his blood and eat his body. That's a part of the ceremony. Can you imagine this? People don't know that. They just follow these rituals, but we are eating here the body of our guru and we are drinking his blood. It's not even stated in the Bible, actually. Not really. No. So I remember when I joined this movement, there was revolutionary times. Young people were breaking down all this, and they wanted something new. And I remember we used to travel around visiting communities of such young people. I have to say it was really amazing. In every community we happened, these hippie communities, because many devotees came from that background. They had two pictures always, picture of Lord Shiva and picture of Jesus. Jesus was very popular among hippies because he also had a long hair, supposedly. And second of all, but they didn't like the tormented thing. Shiva was very popular because Shiva smokes ganja and they also smoke ganja, you know. But they had one picture of Jesus, big poster, which was reproduced so many times. It was Jesus with a good laugh, just laughing, happy, Jesus. I never forgot this. I was going, oh, that could be also him, isn't it? You know, because for sure Jesus was sometimes also laughing. So this is just an example what happens when you move away from the truth. You become more and more depressed, more and more miserable, more and more fearful, you know, because you don't know. And you don't want to know. You get used to ignorance. You get used to darkness. You get, because people say, yeah, that's how life is. That's what it is. Let it be. Let it all be as it is. They write songs about it. Let it be. Let it be. Let it all be. Don't bother. Don't look for something else. Let it be as it is. That it is because it is. So technically we call it Mayavada. Mayavada means you accept doctrine. Yes, it is illusion, but that's the world we are living in. It's all Maya here, so why not? You are Maya, I am Maya. It's all this. There are different branches of that, like existentialistic philosophy and all this, which says that we are just existing. That's all. There's no supreme cause. There is no meaning really to life. You just live and exist there. You eat, and then we have some sex, and then we sleep, and then this is it. There's nothing more to it, you know. So all this is not for those who come to Krishna consciousness. If somebody really wants to come to Krishna consciousness, looking for truth, he must keep on looking, because illusion is so perfect. It's God's energy. So when there's one I'm quoting now a Christian man who said something very interesting. Krishna can give intelligence to everybody. Sorry, we don't have the monopoly on intelligence. No. Just because I am a member of Hare Krishna movement doesn't give me the monopoly on intelligence. Srila Prabhupada showed us he accepted any intelligent idea coming, even from his disciples, because he knew Krishna can give intelligence to everybody. So this man said something quite interesting. He said, the devil will not oppose religion openly. He is too smart for that. He will create a copy of religion, a perverted copy, so looking like the original that people don't dare to criticize it, you know. And this is what happening in the church happens. You cannot be criticizing the church, because then you are not Christian, right? Well, the same attempt is made in Krishna consciousness as well, to create an institution which you cannot ask even. We are not speaking about criticizing, we are speaking about asking questions, relevant questions, important questions. Prabhupada encouraged that. You have some question? Come on, ask question. No, it was scary to ask Prabhupada some question, because then you quickly realize what an idiot you are. And who wants to be exposed? So everybody was, yes, I agree. Yes, I agree. Nah. He didn't. And Prabhupada knew that. So he was challenging us all the time. Ask questions. Ask questions. Use your brain. Use your brain. Activate your brain. This is a fearful idea for those who actually like to neutralize our brain. For what purpose? So they can control us. This is what you do in a society. You stupidify people by sense gratification. No, we don't do this officially. You know, you stupidify people by making them passive consumers. Now we know in Krishna consciousness we don't do that. But we can be passive consumers of understanding of others without our own understanding. And that's even more dangerous. You know, yeah. If you just start to eat what the other one is eating, well, maybe sooner or later you find out it's not so good. But to be indoctrinated by some idea and follow blindly, this is very dangerous. Because then everything else, you become like a robot. You lose your personal identity, which is after all the essence of Krishna consciousness. Krishna says, they are all my eternal personal paths. Now people think, well, if I'm part of God, then I cannot be individual. No. That's where our individuality is. An illusion tells us, if you oppose God and try to be more or less God yourself, then you become individual. No. It becomes exactly opposite. All these people here on the street, they do the same. They do the same. When you go in detail, they do the same. And they tell them all the time. Therefore, the world of lies is very easy to document. From the day we were born, we were lied to. Things are like that. And not because our parents wanted to lie to us, but they didn't know anything else. They thought this was reality. I give an example. My father was a musician, absolutely 100% possessed musician. He was living music. He was not practicing music. He was living it. So whoever was musician, that was for him understandable. Immediately he was related. And whoever was not musician, he was actually a very asocial person. My mother being more social, women are more social beings, so she was going like, well, let's go and talk to somebody. And he said, nah, not a musician, nah. That was, it was like that. So, my mother was very popular because she was actually almost unconditionally social. She was very, welcomed by people because she was so open. She was a village girl. She was very open, very, very, very simple. People like that. So this is just an example. So we become indoctrinated. We become, come in. So there is a level of truth how we can actually see things around us. That's called Brahma Bhuta. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. There is actually a level where we can see everybody being as a part of God, indiscriminately almost. That doesn't mean that he will understand that, but we can understand people. Like we are sitting here completely different people. The gentleman comes from Vrindavan. There's Indian people, there's small people, there's bigger people, there's old people, there's young people. From a spiritual point of view, it means absolutely nothing. Even we accept things are like that, sure, but they are very temporary. Truth is not temporary, truth is forever. Therefore, we are all part of God, and this is the reality. What kind of body we have, how we are packaged in, you could say, well, that's not so important. That's temporary. This lifetime we can be here. Next lifetime we have another body. Next lifetime we have another body. Even in this lifetime the body is changing all the time. So what is the real thing? So truth is actually very pleasant because it's never changing. It's the same all the time, and it will be same forever. That's the real truth. Now how do we get to that? That Prabhupada showed us. First of all, we have to have somebody who is tangibly living, who can tell us the truth.